out of all the ways to use AI agents beyond sales and for my own personal productivity and my own use, my favorite method has to be Claude Code. And I'm going to continue to be a fan of the OG way of using a computer, a laptop, which is through the terminal. Now, God forbid, even if Claude Code goes away, this way should still work for you because the model context protocol is something that will indeed survive the test of time. Now, the idea of MCP is that these tools and these agents and whatever it is that I'm giving to you today should work with any AI agent-centric tool or any harness, as they call it, right? Claude Code is a harness, OpenClaw is a harness. A lot of these other tools which use the terminal are also a harness. And a harness is just often a terminal application which can take control of your computer, use it, and do things on behalf of you. Now, the way to install the second brain OS and get it to work with Claude Code is that, of course, you will need to have Node.js installed, and you don't need the Claude Desktop app, but you do need a couple of packages, right? And the way you want to get those packages, and these packages are known as CLI packages or command line interface or terminal packages. So what you want to do is go into applications and over here find this folder called utilities, go into it, and over here you will have another one called terminal and just click into it. And when you open the terminal, you're probably familiar with it from one of my last videos. If not, no problem. What you will see is this screen, right? It might be slightly different, but you will see last login, maybe your username, your MacBook name, whatever it is. You can press Command plus as many times as you like to zoom in, and this will get bigger. I think this is big enough for me. And the first thing you want to do is install Claude Code. My preferred method is to, if you're on Mac OS, is to have Homebrew installed. And the way to install Homebrew is very simple. Just be like Homebrew and go into this link. And you can copy this command and run it. And just to show you how that works, you will just paste this and press enter and it will install everything. One important thing is that, let me just also install Brew and I'll show you one thing. As you are installing Brew, you will first need to enter your laptop password. Once you install it, it will run the process fully. Now, once you've installed, at the very end, in your particular case, because if you're doing especially if you're installing it for the first time, you may have to set the path. So read the last bit of it carefully if it's instructing you to run a command. Copy that last bit and then run that so that brew is set to the right path, right? Once that's done, what you want to do is just do brew install and type in three things: npm, nvm, and node, right? And it will just install all three of those things. And in my case, because it's already installed, it's not going to let me do that. And once you have all three things, which brew, which npm, which node, the command to install Claude Code is very, very simple. You will just say brew install Claude Code, and it will do the needful and it will just do whatever it needs to do. In my case, Claude is already installed, right? Now I can type in clear again. You want to go into Finder and press Command Shift G and type in the approximate icon. If you press Shift and this button just before one, you will get into this one, right? Over here, you will go into your username. It will appear as your username once you do this and press enter. And let me just clear my screen and you will land into something like this. What you want to do is create a new folder here. You can call my knowledge, knowledge work, my second brain OS, my agents, Claude, whatever. I'm just going to call it my second brain OS and just go here, right? Now, if you head back into the terminal and from here, I want to navigate into that folder I just created. So you can type in ls and you'll just see the list of folders inside your root, which is your username. I have that folder called my second brain OS. So what you want to do is type in cd my second brain OS, right? From here, you will type in Claude and and enter, right? Now, this is a safer way of using Claude because you are limiting Claude to this folder as opposed to having access to everything in the permissions to reading all the files in your computer, right? Of course, you can gradually give permissions and that will be a thing that you will face when you're using Claude Code, but just something to be very aware of. You can start safe and then kind of increase the permissions you go. Now here you can press, yes, I trust this folder and just read what you are seeing in front of you. And then you can also enter and Claude Code will have started, right? In your case, because you'll be installing Claude Code for the first time, it will walk you through a bit of a wizard to maybe set up your theme, configuration, etc., etc. Now, because you want to maximize the number of tokens you can use with the second brain OS, and Claude, what you want to do is press slash and type in config and make just two very simple settings. One is that you want to find thinking mode and make sure that you switch off thinking mode because it's really not necessary for most things over here. I'm doing. Now, once you're in thinking mode, if you move the arrow key right or left, it will switch to true or false. Of course, you want to just shift it to false. And then here you want to go into model. And model, when you press the right arrow key, you'll enter this model window. You want to select Opus, but make sure it's on low effort. And the way to do that is to use your arrow keys again. So right, you will go more, and left, you will go to, lowest, right? So let's just go from the very top, which is max effort. I'm just going to go to high, medium, and low. Once you're in low, press enter. Once you're back on this, just confirm that you have indeed set thinking mode to false. And you can just press enter to save here, and you are done. So now the model is set, config is set, all of it is done. Next thing is, if you've already ran the second brainOS command, you can type in /mcp, and you'll see that the second brainOS is already connected. If you buy something new from me during process, all you have to do is for an existing chat with Claude Code, not new ones, you can come in and press enter on the second brainOS and just press reconnect, and it will reconnect to the second brainOS and pull your latest tools or agents, skills, whatever it is that you have access to through the second brainOS, right? If you've not installed the second brainOS, what you want to do is head back into the browser, go into this tab, and copy this first command, go back into your terminal. You can open a new tab in the terminal. Just type in cd so that you're at root, paste the command, enter. You might be prompted to enter your laptop password. And so you can enter your password and press enter. You won't be able to see that password. Of course, that password is safe. It remains on your computer. When you're installing packages and things to the terminal, it's common for it to ask you for your password because it's verifying whether it's actually you making the installation, right? But rest assured, it's generally safe. It's okay. So yeah, once it's installed, and if you, just to reiterate my point earlier, what you can do is head back into this tab, and you can start a new session, or for an existing session, just /mcp, and then second brain OS and reconnect, and you'll be back into it, right? Once you are done, any agents, any tools, and any scales to a second brain OS will be available via /commands. It's very simple. So for example, let me show you the Calendly AI agent, right? And over here, I have a Calendly skill and a Calendly AI agent for this account, right? So if I do this, it will intuitively know and take the persona, the character of your Calendly AI agent, and it will do the needful. For example, I can say, what tools do you have access to, and what skills do you have access to as the Calendly agent? And really, from this point, it's a rather simple process. You're just conversing with it, chatting with it. You can, of course, use as many tech savvy things as you like, but the second brain OS really gives you a batteries included pack. Everything is at the touch of a button, type second brain, and you will find so many tools and so many things that whatever it is that you have access to from second brain OS, it'll be available, right? And so I can just say, pull the skill and walk me through it. And it will ask, for example, even which skills to pick, because the second brainwise gives mega skills. So I'll be like skill 4, and it will pull skill number 4. And just to show you what a tool call looks like to the second brain OI or second brain OS agent, and you'll see that it made a tool call to the second brain OS, and then it pulled this skill, and then yeah, now it's just a very intuitive process. It's asking whether I want to proceed, do something else. You get the gist. Really, Claude Code is, people overcomplicate it. It's really quite simple.